Hey, Steve Mignon here at High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts, doing another high octane walk around with a 1986 Ford Mustang LX convertible. Now you got to remember that the Fox Mustang arrived in 1979, sort of a downsized car, the right car for the times, replacing the Mustang II, which was kind of Pinto based. But 1986, this one right here, was the third year in for the return of the convertible body, which arrived in 1983 after a 10-year absence. 73 till 82, no Ford Mustang convertibles, except for some custom pieces that weren't Ford blessed. But here's the thing, from 1983 through 1993, a total of 276,526 Fox Mustang convertibles were built. But here's the thing, they weren't built at Ford. Here's how it goes. The River Rouge plant built the basic Mustang as a two-door sedan, and then the roof was cut off at River Rouge by Ford, and then a plastic cap was put on the car for its 10-mile trip to Cars and Concepts, a conversion shop in Brighton, Michigan. And in total, again, 276,526 cars were chopped in that long period, that decade, and that's basically, the mileage is like 5.5 million miles that Mustang shells went from Ford to Cars and Concepts back to Ford to become convertibles. That's like going to the moon and back 12 times. Kind of interesting. So again, this was born at the Ford Rouge plant as a two-door sedan. The roof was cut off, and then it was sent to Cars and Concepts for completion as a convertible. Ford didn't do these in-house, but if we look really close at it, it's really well done. But one thing about convertible Foxes is they have a different rocker. This section right here is actually a little bit bigger than it is on the hardtops and fastbacks, this thing right here. And also, there's bracing underneath the car, bolt-on structures and tubes that give the car rigidity. Because when you lose the roof, you have yourself a flexi flyer, potentially, unless you bolster it. But if you look right here, these modesty covers here, these little patch panels, are kind of nice, but these are plastic. If you unbolt this thing, you'll see where Ford sliced away the two-door sedan body for the conversion to the convertible body. Now this one has something useful, the optional luggage rack on the trunk. And again, the trunks in these cars were not massive, either in sedan form. Of course, the hatchback was a whole different story, but the hatchback is not conducive to convertibilization. So with that said, the trunks on these things, you can put your luggage on top or inside. Let's have a look and see what is in this trunk compartment. Okay, one thing we notice on this is the trunk is a little bit shorter than it is on a Mustang Coupe because the top stack has to go down inside of this structure here. There's a bit of a hollow inside of here, but it's not very tall. So again, if you have a convertible Mustang, you might get a half a week's worth of groceries in the back, but there's always the back seat to put stuff into. And again, 1986, 85, we begin to see this, the wonderful CMHSL, century-minded stop light, a federal mandate. But on the convertibles, nicely blended, hidden underneath the luggage rack right here, kind of a cool touch. So now we have to look inside this car and see what transmission we've got. Like all Mustangs, the shifter is always in the center between the bucket seats. Never a column shifter on Mustang, although certain Camaros could be had with column shifters. And of course, the Camaro is Mustang's mortal enemy, if you will. But this one's pretty well dressed out, has the automatic transmission, power windows, cruise control, and pretty typical of a well-optioned Mustang convertible. You could get these stripped down minus the power windows, etc. But something we can see here, the dashboard, the speedometer goes to 85 miles per hour. Now, if you weren't around in the 1970s, you got to remember from 1974 to about, I don't know, 1988, we had a national 55 mile per hour speed limit. And for the first 5 years or so, it was strictly enforced because, you know, we had the gas crisis, the energy crisis in the 1970s, and the federal government said, hey, look, if we slow traffic down to 55 instead of 70 or 80, we're going to save some fuel. And it worked, but it also slowed down the nation. But it also led to things like the 85 mile an hour speedometer with the 55 circled to remind you, hey, 55, stay alive. Of course, Sammy Hagar would beg to differ. He can't drive 55, and neither can I. Now in 1986, there were three possible engines in a Fox Mustang: the 2.3-liter inline-4 single overhead cam, a 3.8-liter V6, the Essex V6, or the mighty 5-liter V8. Now the thing of it is, the 4-cylinder was not available in a convertible because it just didn't quite have enough power to handle the extra weight of the convertible. Plus it wouldn't be that sporty to have a really slow Ford Mustang convertible. So V6 or V8 would be found standard under the hood of any Mustang convertible in 1986. Now here's the crazy thing. The base price on this car in 1986 was $13,000, which was about 40% more than a basic Mustang sedan. So you paid a good premium for Ford to truck it 10 miles to and from Cars and Concepts to be decapitated and turned into a Mustang convertible. But again, they made these for 10 years, 83 through 93, and a total of 276,526 Fox Mustang convertibles were built. Very popular cars then and now. And to learn more about this actual car, check it out on the High Octane Classics website.